welcome back to Sistas in Crime with Shy and Toy. I'm Toy, that is short for Latoya.
And I'm Shamia, short for I'm Shy, short for Shamia. I'm gonna get it right one day.
We gonna work on that.
That's been my name my whole life, so why I can't get it right, I don't know.
It's okay. They better not say nothing.
Right.
So this week, we're gonna be talking about a case that outside of South Carolina. This is the first week, so we brought in our horizons, y'all. So we're gonna be going over the case of Dr. Deborah Green. So,
Mhm.
there may be like a mild trigger warning. This is nowhere near as deep as Pee Wee Gaskins or Susan Smith or anyone like that, but there still are some sensitive topics. So probably like a mild trigger warning. So we're just gonna jump right in like we always do with a little bit of background. So Dr. Deborah Green, born February the 28th, 1951, to Joan and Bob Jones of Havana, Illinois. She was the second of two daughters. Um, People that knew her said she was very smart. She had a very high IQ, so she was very intellectually inclined. She was part of the national she was the national merit scholar as well as co-valedictorian of her high school class. So she had a really bright future. And she was even, rumor has it that she was even possibly taught herself how to read before the age of 3 years old.
Mm.
So after she graduated high school, she attended the University of Illinois, which is where she started out pursuing a degree in chemical engineering. However, after she graduated college in 1972, she decided to go to medical school instead, and she attended the Kansas School of Medicine. So from there, she graduated in 1975 and decided to do her residency at Truman Medical Center after her graduation. And she chose to specialize in emergency medicine. So she did a residency in the emergency center at Truman Medical Center as a physician.
Mm.
Now, while she was in college, she dated a fellow engineer by the name of Dwayne Green, and they married and lived together in Independence, Missouri, while Deborah was finishing her residency. However, they had separated and amicably divorced by 1978. So, it was a friendly divorce. She was quoted as saying, "We just had absolutely no common interests," which I get that. I understand that. Um, but while she was separated, girl, move fast, okay? Let's line it up. You divorced in 1978. While she was separated, she started dating Michael Farrar, who also attended medical school. He was also very intellectually inclined as well. Now,
Mhm.
Deborah and Michael got married May the 26th of 1979.
Mhm.
That is the following year from her divorce. So, but you know
Mhm.
what? I feel like back in the day, things you typically move kind of fast because a lot of these cases we cover, it's like, boy meets girl, date for a year, married the following year type of deal.
Yep.
That's like a general consensus. So maybe it's
Yep.
not too strange for the
Mhm.
times, but I know in
Yeah.
2023. Mm-mm.
No.
So
Mm-mm.
they the couple moved to Ohio because Michael got accepted into an internal medicine residency at the University of Cincinnati. And while there, Deborah decided to go into practice at a Jewish hospital as an emergency physician there. But later on, she decided, she just wasn't satisfied, didn't like it. So she completed a second residency, doing internal medicine just like her husband, and went on from there. So now you have the little background established, very smart, went to college, married before, separated, then amicably divorced, met Michael during the separation, married, Ohio, doctors, both very smart, got that coin. You know what I'm talking about?
That point.
That point. I started out pre med myself. I should have kept it, but anyway, I should have kept going. But so now they're married. They ended up having three children.
Mm-hmm.
between 1982 and 1988. So that's what, about like 16 years. I think
Mm-hmm.
16 years they end up being married.
Mm-hmm.
And Deborah decided to go into private practice for oncology, and she was working at private practices, but then later on decided to open her own private practice, which was very successful until the birth of her last child in 1988. So now we're gonna get a little bit into the marriage and things, girl. I'll let you start
The
on
shade of it all.
that.
Okay. All right. So, like Toy said, they had three kids. The kids were named Jennifer, Timmy, and Kelly. They lived in a very affluent neighborhood in Kansas City. They reported that outsiders felt like their marriage were almost perfect, but like people got to understand, like when you be thinking people marriages are perfect, like what are you
No
basing that
relationship is
off of?
perfect. No
Like no
relationship
marriage
is
is
perfect.
perfect, but like what are
Marriage,
you based all of
boyfriend,
that off of?
girlfriend, none, boyfriend, girlfriend, girlfriend. I don't care what you is. Ain't no relationship perfect. Friendship,
No.
none of it is perfect.
No, no. So people got to be careful with that word perfect. But anyway,
Mm.
I'll proceed, right? So, but they said the marriage was under some stress. So the first thing was Michael. He was a heart specialist and he worked very long hours, which meant he wasn't at home a whole lot, right? So Deborah ended up quitting her job and became a full time mom, like wife, mom became her like identity.
Mm-hmm.
And they reported that made her very depressed. She gained weight and she had a severe drinking problem. So it reported that in effort to, here's the gag of it all, y'all. So in effort to rekindle their marriage, they went on a school trip with their son Timmy to Peru. So while they were in Peru, there was a very attractive blonde nurse with the group who also had a son that accompanied them on the trip and apparently uh, connected with Michael, right? So
The
they
irony of it
connect
all.
and then somehow, magically, they upgrade to stroking. They up
No.
Yeah, they upgraded to stroking. So they
Stroke it with
said
emotion.
so, I mean, they upgraded to the love stroke. But Deborah was a very smart woman, didn't take her long to figure it out.
But
And
how
they said, hmm,
ain't that ironic though? Like you go on a school trip to Peru with your son to repair your marriage, and you end up having an affair. The if men ain't got nothing else,
they got audacity. Listen,
cause what
audacity is on sale nowadays,
audacity
apparently.
is on sale. Been on sale
Audacity is
since
on
the
sale.
'80s, apparently. But go
Right.
ahead, boo.
Right. Sorry, y'all. These earrings gonna drive me crazy. So she found out. So immediately she moved in a separate bedroom in the house, and her drinking increased significantly. Right. So after this trip, Michael gets sick. So like severe diarrhea, stomach issues, lost a bunch of weight. Like I want to say he got down to like 125 pounds.
Over
Just
good.
very sick. Went to the hospital. And keep in mind, y'all, he's a doctor. So he went to the hospital, and I'm pretty sure it's very scary being a doctor under care yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So did all the tests, didn't find anything. So it was just marked undetermined. And he really, really suffered from that. So when he got out of the hospital, all of that illness ended up resulting in him being admitted into the hospital, not just an ER visit. No, admitted.
Yeah.
So um, what ended up happening, he got discharged and he moved in an apartment across town. Like their marriage was just like done kind of at that point. So that was kind of like the next step, the separation, him just out of the house.
Yeah.
So he reported that was reported that Deborah was very depressed all the time. She stayed in the bed, and he was concerned. Michael was concerned about her and the kids. But honestly, I felt like I mean, this is just me. I felt like I don't really think he cared about her that much. I think that was a way
Them
to
children
start his process to get full custody of the kids,
of
which
them
I,
kids.
right, which I totally understand. But
Because Deborah had a
obviously,
lot going on. Like,
yeah,
there was accounts that, like, she has, I mean, she had some medical things. She dealt with like chronic pain, and
hmm,
she had like a surgery on her wrist or something due to an infection. She had a couple things going on, like Sha
right,
said, weight up and down, depressed, severe drinking,
hmm,
like, not, I mean, blackout drunk.
yes,
She was a
yes,
blackout drunk, would go unconscious,
yes,
doing it in front of the children.
right, right,
You know what I mean? He was
yeah,
trying to get away from that woman, like, but
yeah,
at the same time, trying to make
right,
sure his kids were okay in the
right,
process. You know what I mean?
right, right. So what ended up happening was, for some reason, of course, his kids were still staying with her. So what ended up happening was, I y'all, when I laugh, it's an inner thought. This is not funny, right? Um,
Not at all. Not at
so
all.
um, he visited the house for some reason, and he saw something sticking out of Deborah's pocketbook. So it was castor beans, and he was like, this is suspicious. Like, why does she have castor beans? And it was labeled poisonous. So he thought, like, she's finally like planning like a suicide or something like that. And he just thought, like, it was weird, like, whatever. But then, one of the investigators, like, well, she was one of the doctors who actually saw. She was an investigator. She was a doctor. Her name was, I have her name here. Give me 1 second. Because she had me rolling through the whole thing.
She was a and that
Um,
was actually a colleague. Like, that was a
yeah,
professional friend of both of
yeah,
them. But she
yeah,
is funny.
yeah. Her name was Dr. Pamela McCoy. So she was on one of the Forensic File episodes where this aired, and she said, immediately when they suspected suicide, she was like, this woman's an oncologist. She has access to the premium, like, high power drugs. Why would she be using an item that would give her like explosive, painful diarrhea to kind of take
Bloody
herself,
stool.
bloody stool to go? She was like, no. She was
I
like,
said,
so
you know what?
immediately,
That makes sense though, because they got
yeah,
access to so many drugs. Like,
yeah,
as a
so
doctor, like, if
right,
you want to take yourself out, it's
right,
more
right.
humane and painless ways to do it.
Right. So immediately they were like, nah. So what ended up happening, he thought it was suspicious or whatever. So Michael confronted Deborah probably like a couple weeks later, and they get into it. Like, they said she was drunk, and like he was just like, so finally he called EMS for her. They picked her up, took her to the hospital, which there she was under the care of Dr. Pamela McCoy. Now y'all have to go watch this episode. It's actually season 4, episode 2. You have to watch this episode because to hear Dr. McCoy talk about Deborah was hilarious. She said she came in for evaluation because he thought, well, she did. What happened was during the fight, she threatened to commit suicide. And that's why he called EMS. Let me back up. All right. So called EMS, took her to the hospital. She's having a psych eval. Dr. McCoy was skeptical about her mental state. Not that she wasn't having a mental, but she was just questioning like her whole mental status. Like, she didn't quite believe she was crazy, honestly. She didn't. Until Michael came in the room, and like Deborah just went in. Like, she got up and was like, the doctor had to hold her back from Michael, and y'all, she spit on him. She cussed at him a lot, but she ended up spitting on him because she couldn't get to him. And I was like, I'm gonna tell you,
Completely different person.
yeah, like night and day. At first, she was questioning her, like, her old mental, but after that, it was like a switch would turn
Yeah.
on. It was like it ignited her when he
It's like
walked in
he
that room.
triggers her in some
Yep.
sort of way. But
Yes.
I was screaming
Yes.
at, she called him a, I don't even know if I can say that. She called him a FUCK hole.
Yeah.
I have never in my life heard of such.
No. Because
What
when they
is
said
that?
that, I said, "What is that even?"
Deborah, come to the square, girl. What is that?
Right.
Like, did you?
Right.
I mean, and this was the '90s, so there were
Right.
appropriate cuss words. There were way more cuss words that you could have used.
Right.
What is a F hole?
Right. Right.
Cause
Bring that to,
you know what? When if a man tick me off, I have some colorful language.
right,
Okay,
but that ain't one.
that ain't one of them. That like when they said that, I
Yeah.
just cringed. I was like,
Yeah.
and don't even say
Ooh.
nothing about my nails. I'm about to get a feeling. Mind your business. But don't worry about me. But
Right.
it was just weird. It was just weird. But like
Mhm.
I just feel like he's a trigger for her, like an extreme trigger. And like this marriage seemed like it was
Mhm.
nowhere near, which she wasn't married to Dwayne Green for that long.
Mhm.
But like I said, that like it was like a friendly separation, friendly divorce, things of that sort. So I'm almost curious as to like what sets her off about Michael. I mean, other than the affair, of course, because this one she's very
Yeah.
smart. She don't put two and two together. She know he cheating on her.
Mhm.
Other than an affair, because they were having several arguments and problems before
Mhm.
this point. And it's
Mhm.
like, and she would also use the children as pawns
Mhm.
when they would have these disagreements and big blowouts.
Yeah.
So much so to the point to try to make the turn the children against their father because like there was a physical altercation. Ugh. Girl, what the hell? That was a physical altercation between the son Timothy and Michael.
Mhm.
So she's inserting them into their business, doing all these things, and like I was just like, I just want to know, like, and maybe it's just her mental state. Maybe it's nothing specific
Mhm.
about Michael. Maybe it's just her mental state because,
Mhm.
like reports of her being in bed all day drinking and stuff like that. She's obviously not satisfied with her life, but I think that has a lot to do with her not being fulfilled because she's now a housewife
Mhm.
and she
Oh
had
yeah.
such a promising future and had to give up her private practice and
Yep.
stuff like that to tend to the kids. But all these kids are of school age now, so could you not
Yeah.
just return back to practicing
Like
medicine
I really think she was full of resentment because in my head it was like I gave all of this up for you,
for you
and and that was, I think, initially, not that I'm justifying her because
at all? We
at
not,
all, but
but I'm just
what I'm
trying to
saying,
understand it.
I think when you trying to, of course we don't know the future, and you try to make decisions, you think like this is a good decision, and then you get on down the road like this wasn't really what I wanted to do. And I could see her like, because from my understanding, he was a great doctor. She was too, but she was a great doctor, and she really wanted to, and she was very smart. But I think she kind of like took the back seat and was like, I'm gonna, help him push his career, and that's just it. Ended up she was
And
built. I don't know. I don't.
she just resented him for that. But at the same time, I'm like, unless this, and I don't know the specifics. I don't know if this is a conversation they both sat down and had and agreed upon together.
Yeah.
But girl, who said you couldn't go back?
Yeah, because in my head, I mean, in my head, sis, y'all can afford some childcare,
Yeah, y'all
and
are both doctors. You got that
you
coin.
got the coin. Like,
You
why didn't
can
you get somebody?
and she was, mind you, y'all, while Michael worked very long hours, she was in private practice. Private practice closed at 5 o'clock. So
Yeah.
why couldn't you get like a babysitter or somebody to tend to the children until you get off work if
Yes.
you were so unsatisfied with your life? Because that
Hmm.
was her passion. Like she
Right.
loved medicine, oncology, and stuff like that. And I can see like I wouldn't do it, but I can
Yeah.
see how that would make someone resentful if
Yeah.
this is something you're so passionate about and you gave it up to tend to your family and for and
Right.
to allow your husband to take off. Now I can do that, in the beginning, but at some point there's going to be an agreement for me to return to what I was doing.
Yes. Yeah.
They don't discuss
Especially.
all that though, but I
Yeah.
was just curious.
Yeah, but no, I mean that's what I feel like happened. She was just like, I regret this, and it's just like, and she developed an addiction, to,
Yeah,
it
being
was scary.
crazy, crazy as
Yeah,
hell.
yeah.
But we'll go on. I diverted for a minute, but I just while we
No,
was
I get it.
there, I was
No,
just
I
curious.
get it. No, I pondered about that for a while. Like I said, I definitely think she resented that man. Like, not, I
Hmm.
gave all this stuff for you and your kids,
And then
to
not
be
only that,
all
you
about
got a nerve
them.
to cheat on me
With a chick you met. Y'all
with
started
a
stroking
nurse.
with
I'm
a
a
nurse.
doctor. You cheating on me
Right.
with
A
mind you,
nurse.
the nurse was married too.
Mm. You know
The
what? And you
hell?
know what? I know what I noticed on that forensic file episode. I bet you they kept her name.
They did, but I got it.
What's her name?
Homegirl's name is, let me go back. Was it Cynthia?
Mm,
No, Margaret Hacker.
mm,
So Margaret, wherever you at, you home wrecker, you contribute to this nonsense too, baby.
mm.
You and Michael. Now, again, we are not taking up for Cray Cray,
No, because we
but
don't do
you
murder.
contributed. We don't do murder. Murder bad. No, but you contributed to this too. So while they may have kept your name hidden on forensic files, Wikipedia said otherwise. Okay,
The streets was talking.
I, girl. If I can't, one thing I can't stand is a cheater. Like I'm not even gonna play with you like that. The
No,
cheater or the other woman, like,
no,
bruh, go
because
ahead.
y'all was right under that woman. Y'all supposed to be having fun, rekindling y'all marriage, and whole time you said us trying to set something up, like
And then you're
set
supposed to be
something up.
bonding with your child. This is your child's field trip, and you meanwhile you sneaking and geeking.
Yep,
Like,
yep. Mm.
why not? And why not end the situation before you start a new one? Let's
Cause
normalize. Let's normalize that. Let's normalize ending one situation before you start a new one, because that's not fair to her.
yeah, that I know that just drove her like
It
even
drove me
deeper in the
crazy just
hole. Yeah,
watching it.
cause like briefly I had a little soft spot. I said I know that just really just like
It was
to be
very
doing
brief
it under
though.
her nose, and the woman was smart. You thought she wasn't gonna find out.
It was very brief though.
Yeah,
Very brief.
she probably got scared.
And we about to tell you why. It was very
Yeah,
brief.
it
Very
was
short lived.
right, y'all. So, all right, you remember that night? Um, well, not that night. How? Wait a minute. Where am I? Hold on. All right. So Dr. Michael does some research on these castor beans, right? So he looked and he saw that the castor beans contain a substance called ricin, and it had like, because keep in mind castor beans are poisonous if ingested, and he looked up the symptoms in his medical book and he saw that the same symptoms he was experiencing
Come on
were
now.
the same ones listed as the symptoms you would get if you ingested the ricin. So
Come on now.
immediately his brain just goes out, like he was like, "Oh my god, did she poison me?" So immediately he got some lab work completed, and y'all,
Come on now.
nothing showed up.
What?
But they knew that ricin, if it was in your system when it was ingested, it left quickly. So sorry, I forgot
Smart.
about that part. That's when he confronted Deborah about, did you poison me? And then that's when all that stuff happened about her going to the emergency room and
She's
all that
smart,
kind of
right?
stuff. She was smart because I was like, where do you even find castor beans and what? Like,
How you knew to do that?
right? I
Like,
was
why
like,
do
what?
what other people do? Everybody use antifreeze. It's not traceable. I
But
ain't
look,
giving y'all no ideas.
no, don't give them no ideas. But we got plenty of cases to prove why that ain't smart.
Plenty of cases. Plenty of cases.
Listen,
Now that's not like it has no taste or anything like that. That's
mhm,
why a lot of people when poisoning have used antifreeze, but
right?
you still gonna get caught because it shows up in the system at some point. It's not like ricin where it is expelled from your body almost
Hmm.
very quickly.
Yes.
Don't do that.
Don't do none of it, y'all.
Just
None of it.
leave. Just move
Leave.
on with grace.
Hmm.
You
Take it
hit
to the
that.
altar.
Leave it with God. Leave it with Him. Cause I'm gonna
Listen,
tell you, anything God can do is 10 times greater than any kind of revenge plot that you'll set up in your mind. You ain't gotta. I'm gonna take. Listen,
take them to church. You better preach, Rev.
listen. You don't have to do anything to people. When people do you wrong, all you have to do is turn them over to God. Pray about it. Say,
Mm-hmm.
Lord, I'm gonna let you handle this.
Okay.
and watch him handle it, because the Bible says, I will make your enemies your footstool.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's the God honest truth. Because when I tell you I have seen it and I have witnessed it for myself, I don't
Right.
play that get back, that revenge, that this, that, and the third.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I
Mm-hmm.
used to,
Yeah.
but it
Yep.
didn't, it wouldn't get me
It
nowhere.
wasn't effective.
By turning it over to God, you are not blocking your blessings, baby. People
Okay.
gonna be who they are. That
Okay.
doesn't mean that you have to react and respond to it.
You better preach braille.
You're
Look,
responsible for your actions, not
look.
theirs.
The Bible said all you got to say is the Lord is my refuge. That's all you
That's
have to
it.
say. That's all you have to
That's
say.
it. And I'm sorry for those of you who are not Christians.
Because the Lord gonna be everything we need Him to be in any
And
situation.
more. And more. And
Always.
if you don't worship the Lord, the Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, whoever it is you worship, I
Right.
assume they work the same way. It's a lot of similarities in religion across different cultures. I
Yes.
studied religion in Wofford College, little tidbit. But I'm gonna get off my soapbox because I ain't gonna preach at y'all.
I am through with you.
I'm not gonna preach at y'all. But no, seriously though, y'all, people like, take a step back when you, because a lot of times it's hard not to respond from a place of emotion, especially us as women. We're very emotional beings. I'm
Yes.
a Virgo. I feel like my emotions is 10 times worse because of that. But
Yeah.
I have learned to just take a step back, breathe, sit
Yeah.
on things for a little while, and then before long it's like it ain't even that serious.
hmm You can never make decisions off permanent decisions off temporary emotion
Temporary.
because
You better say it.
you're not gonna feel the same way.
Better say it, and you
You're
usually
not gonna
always
feel.
end up regretting it.
Yes.
I got
Yeah.
some stories. I might write a book, but the woman I
You
am
should.
today, I don't do those things. We gonna get back to the case though. Welcome. Thank you for coming to my TED talk. we
Oh
gonna we
no.
gonna get back to the case.
So y'all, all right. So now we are the night, the same. I believe it was the same night, right? She returned home from the hospital. Was it a couple nights later?
It was a couple weeks later.
Okay. So a massive fire breaks out at their home, their big, beautiful home. A fire breaks out. Now, the investigator said that was the one of the biggest fires, and it spread so quickly, like the house just engulfed in flames so fast. So of course, when the investor showed up, they put the fire out. Y'all, unfortunately, so sad. Two of the kids were trapped in the house and got killed. Immediately, that just broke my heart all into pieces because I was like, after all of this, still like, come on now, the kids. But that just really, it just tore my heart to pieces. But
And Timothy
uh-huh.
tore me up specifically.
Oh God,
Cause
oh
they
God,
said Kelly passed away of smoke inhalation in her sleep. So,
yeah,
she didn't really feel the heat of the fire, type of deal. But
yeah,
Timothy was
yeah,
13, y'all. He burned to death.
yes, yeah,
I
broke my heart. And
That's
the
why I
sad
said kind of a
thing,
mild trigger warning.
yes,
This
yes,
is a
yes,
very
y'all.
sensitive
Yeah,
topic, but that was very
right.
sad.
Very sad. And of course, they're doing an investigation, and immediately they suspected arson. Immediately, and
Right off the
it
bat.
amazes me. It amazes me how they can go in a house that is burned to you and I, and we might think like, what do you even? Where do you even like think to look?
Hmm.
But when they went in that house, they knew exactly what to look for, and they were not playing. They said
Right off the bat.
immediately they suspected arson. So they started looking deeper into their relationship. That's when they found out about her going to Dr. McCoy. Now, Dr. McCoy, the one she went to see to get a psych eval, said she heard her say, "You're going to get these kids over their dead body." Now, she
Hello,
said, ding, 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 ding. But see, the thing is, though, y'all got to be
girl.
careful going to these medical providers saying stuff like that because they have to document it.
I have to document it because I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna come back on you, and they're gonna come back on me.
Yeah, because you about to see with Deborah, it came back on her because Dr. McCoy was not recording, but documenting this, and she remembered
Hmm.
what you said because
Hmm.
now you said over their dead bodies, and then
You
now
got
those
two dead
children, two
kids.
of your babies, are deceased at this point.
Like, girl, what?
Right. So they have a witness that said, okay, but she said this, all right, and then suspected arson. So of course, they're going through the house and they see bottles like with Excel that in like starter spots where a chemical had been poured on the floor. And they could just see that whoever did it purposely like put accelerant in certain areas, basically so whoever was trapped in the house could be trapped in the house, basically.
And wasn't
Like,
able to get
and
out.
wasn't able to get back, wasn't
And
able to
when
get out.
nobody in the house but Deborah and her kids.
In her kids.
So whoever this is didn't want the kids to get out.
Hmm. Now, Deborah said she was asleep when she heard the fire alarm went off. She says she went to her door, opened it,
Mm.
and so, oh my God, the house was on fire and she was trapped, couldn't get out.
Oh my
Ran
God,
to,
it's the fire.
oh my God.
I grabbed number 2 tortilla pieces.
What?
You don't
Tortilla,
remember that?
please.
You don't remember that
No.
years ago? She said, "Oh my God, it's the fire." I
Okay,
said, "Wait a
I remember
minute."
that part, but I didn't know she said that part.
She said, I couldn't do Lord, I couldn't do nothing but grab 2 tortillas pieces and run
I'm
out the
gonna watch
house. I
that tonight.
said, you grab girl, we getting off topic. Go ahead.
I know, but it happens.
That
You
was
on
so
what you
funny.
on, and I'm on what I'm on.
And we on bullshit.
Always. Um. So the neighbor come forward as a witness and said that Deborah came to her house, or it was I don't know. It was the neighbor, and they said
Mhm.
that she came in a robe, asked her to call 911. She was wet and stuff, and immediately keep in mind they already suspected arson, and the investigators weren't surprised because they said whatever when they were going through the house, they found her robe bottled up in a ball on the floor, and it was burned on the end. So they felt like she's the one that set the fire. And it was like they tested some of the material. They found out some of the material was um, from like charcoal lighter fluid. They were able to find it was like the same chemical. And then they found that bottle of lighter fluid. So they said that immediately they knew why she could have like been drenched. You know, she might have said it
Mhm.
was sweat. No, it wasn't sweat. What it was, she had hopped in the shower and dusted, not dusted, Lord. Let me get together. Not dusted. She had burned herself when she opened the door to check to see the fire. She had burned her hair too. I think she ended up having to have her hair cut off, and it burned the bottom of her robe. So immediately they was like, yeah. So what they think happened was when she opened that door, she was setting the house on fire. She was pouring accelerant, and that all those chemicals was way too much for her, and it burnt her. She was way too close. But basically, they
Mhm.
determined that
She,
she was lying,
you
busted her
did it,
story all the way up.
girl.
She did it.
Bombastic side. Girl, not them
Mm.
innocent babies. But like I said, she used to use them as pawns in their arguments. So, how
Y'all.
much did she really care about them?
And the sad thing, this part, y'all, trigger warning. She said that when she ran over to the neighbor's house, she called her son Timmy on I guess they had like a house phone intercom or something like that in
No,
the
she
house.
yelled. She
Oh,
yelled for
she
him.
yelled? Okay.
Yeah.
So she yelled, stay in the house. She told that baby to stay in the house, and he did exactly what his mama told him to do.
Now, we're not mothers,
Nope, not yet.
but we aunties. Even if it's
Yep,
one of our nieces or nephews,
yep,
baby, I'm listen, I'm getting them
right,
babies out before anything. I'm not going
yep,
to tell them to stay in the house. No, if I can't get to you and you see a way out
yep,
that's not engulfed with flames, baby, come on.
yep, yep.
Why would you
I'm getting them
intentionally
kids
tell that
out.
child to stay in the house?
Yep, because you wanted to, because she wanted to.
You wanted him
And that
like
just makes me mad because what you and your husband had going on had nothing to do with those kids.
nothing. These babies were
Like,
innocent.
like You should have kept it between you and those kids. And
And
it just ticked
y'all,
me
if
off.
you did you see how she responded and reacted when the police were
Yeah.
interviewing her? Like it was
Yeah.
like she did a fake cry, but
Like
that's
a
not how.
squeal.
Yeah, but that's not how a mother who has lost her child will react.
Yes.
Like you,
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
it's it's different. If you've ever heard the cries of a mom who has lost a child, it's gut
Yeah.
wrenching. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like it was just you could tell she was putting on for show. She's
Yeah.
like, oh my god, I lost. They're
Yeah.
dead, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel like she was disappointed that the third one didn't die.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. She just sounded like a squealing pig to me when she was screaming and holler. I said,
She told my nerves slim up.
yeah. I said, if I was there, I would have shook the shit. Ooh, excuse
I wish I could have came through that screen on her. Cause you, they would have been arresting me next. Cause I
me.
don't play when it comes to the babies. You, don't,
The kids.
I don't play like that. Don't, no,
No.
no, no. But go
Mm.
ahead, boo.
But so y'all they even pulled in the FBI because okay, so they had to get her for murder for the kids, and then she also had to. They were also trying to pin and prove that she poisoned her. I think they were still husband and wife at the time. I don't think the divorce was final. So
No,
they
they
was
hadn't divorced us yet.
trying to prove attempted murder, 2 counts of attempted murder. So it's like, how are we gonna prove this? So they pulled in the FBI, y'all. FBI. So y'all earlier I mentioned
Call
that
them big boys.
the so they pulled in the FBI, and of course they always have tests that y'all don't know anything about, like state of the art stuff or whatever. So yeah. So they did this test, and it was like y'all remember earlier where I said they did tests and they could not determine that the ricin was in his system because it would quickly leave his system. Well, the FBI had a system where they could determine that if he had antibodies, right? So they did all the tests, and y'all, he had antibodies. Apparently, this woman had been poisoning him for a while.
Yeah, because they said that the amount of antibodies that were in
Yep.
his body, the ricin antibodies was significant.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
he had at least three different occasions to where he
Mm-hmm.
was poisoned by ricin.
Yep.
Now, when and mind you, when he found the packets in her purse, there were several of them.
Yep.
So, I'm just like, and apparently she must have been slipping it into his food or something
Yeah.
like that, of
Ain't
course.
no telling.
But yeah, like girl,
Yeah.
girl, just let him go. If he want to leave, let him go.
Yeah. Girl, do what the other suburban moms do. Like, get you a new hairstyle.
You got
Like,
money,
like, you know what I mean? Do that. Don't kill.
dye
Like, it ain't
your
worth it.
hair,
Because
have
guess
a
what? Now
red
he's
hair phase.
right. Go. I mean, do all. I mean, just go buck wild. I don't care, but don't kill nobody. Listen, she could have just moved out. You know, if she wanted the kids, got some therapy.
She didn't even have to. Bad as that house was, he moved
Yeah.
out. She
Yeah.
could have kept the house, made him pay for it during the divorce for her
Yep.
and the children.
Yep.
Like, girl, this
Yep.
like child. And then
Set your
you could have
whole life
went
up.
back, got your private practice back, set it up again, or
Yep.
worked at a different private practice
Yep.
and
Yep.
had childcare for your children. The
Yes.
oldest was 13. Hell, you might not even need no childcare because 13, he can babysit the other two. It
Yes.
wouldn't be before like what 2 hours after they get out of school if you're getting out at
Yeah.
5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like there's
But
so
with
many
that
things you could
money,
have done with that money,
but see, with that money, you could have had a nanny. Like if you were that girl,
girl.
like you could have had a nanny girl. You could have like leveled up your life. But no, you decided to kill. You decided to commit murder.
She was obsessive. That's how
Yeah.
friends and colleagues described her. She was so obsessive over Michael.
Yeah.
That's you know what, and I you know what, it's crazy that his name is Michael.
Why?
We ain't gonna get into that, but but listen. Like, okay, I can get kind of being obsessive over you. You know, you like my man, my man, my man. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
cool. But you took it to a whole different degree. Like you. I mean, all that money
Mhm.
y'all had, and mind you, he was working very long hours, so I know he was making way more than the
Yep.
the general salary for a he was like what, a heart specialist. He worked in
Yeah, he
internal
was a
medicine.
cardiologist. Very good
Cardiologist is way
cardiologist.
up there, like
Yes.
with anesthesiologists and stuff like that. Cardiologist is the highest. I'm pretty sure. Last I
Mhm.
checked, is the highest paying physician job it is.
Mhm. Yes.
Like you gotta be so for real, girl. Like
Yeah. Yeah. I would
again,
have.
like just like Sandy, y'all not playing the long game.
No. No. That those decisions that she made, that decision was impulse, and she didn't think that through.
No,
Like
ain't no
I,
way. And for you to
I
be that
yeah,
smart,
yeah. That was anger, and she was probably drunk, and that was anger.
because I was listening to a podcast today on her, and they were saying her IQ was up there with Albert Einstein. For you to be that smart, you ain't think that through, baby.
No, that was impulse. That was like making permanent decisions of temporary. She was mad. She was sitting in that bed mad at Michael, wanting to know what Michael was doing, and then she thought,
And
you
see,
know,
that leads me to think that she did have, and this is not an excuse because I really hate how things happen in society and we automatically blame it on mental health.
yeah,
However, that leads me to believe that something mentally was off because with
hmm,
Michael specifically, there's no rationalization. She immediately goes from, he does the action, immediately jump to rage and
yeah,
reaction. A
yes,
lot of her friends said that as well. There was no rationalization, no thinking process in between.
right,
And that's the mind of like children who've gone through traumatic events. They never said she went through anything traumatic as a child, but it's like they process something happens to them, and they don't process it. They don't tap into their thinking brain. They immediately go to a reaction. You have
right.
to be able to tap into your thinking brain before you just, like Sha said, like how did you put that?
Making
Um
permanent decisions off temporary
Off
emotions.
temporary emotions. Like y'all gotta think and
Yeah,
then play the long game. Cause baby, I'm sure infidelity, I'm pretty sure you had proof, you had receipts.
yeah,
You would have got alimony, child
yeah.
support, all of that,
All
unless he
kind of
got full
owns.
custody. But you could would have got all the monies, girl.
All the money.
Y'all don't be thinking sometimes
No.
these men be making their own beds. Let them.
Yeah. Let them lay in it.
Let
Like,
them lay in it.
and then like now you are going to jail because they charged you. They were able to prove
Clink clink.
that she poisoned her husband twice, but they were thinking for a long time she was doing it. Your kids, kill them. So now you are going to jail for life because, and he's still free doing
Cause
what
you
he want to
dumb.
do.
And he's still out here talking about you on forensic files.
Yeah.
Girl,
Like, he admitted his infidel. I mean, he wasn't on, but y'all, here's one thing. Y'all, before the trial, this man had to have brain surgery from the damage that was done from
yeah,
ingesting those castor beans.
because it caused him to have an aneurysm.
Yes.
So, like, he
Yeah.
really was
Yeah. He
messed
went
up
through it. He was messed up.
behind those few times that she put castor
Yeah.
beans in his food. And who would ever think a bean
Yeah.
is poisonous? But I'm like, maybe it's not just like, maybe, of course, it can't be a bean that you cook with or nothing like that. But I think
Hmm.
she got it like a garden store or something like that, something stupid like that. But it has a caution sign on the label. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah. But she did.
y'all
She
be making
did.
me sick week after week.
Every week, that just get on my nerves.
Like, girl, all that, girl, and it ain't all about the money. Don't get me wrong. But if you
Mm-mm.
gonna put me through something, a little monetary compensation might make me feel better.
But like we were saying earlier, like girl, but you know what though, she ain't have a good set of girlfriends. I don't think.
She didn't really have none because she started alienating herself from everybody, and her
Yeah.
colleagues was saying like she had a part-time job where she would do medical reviews for some other medical professionals, and she also would do some Medicaid processing at the house. But they said that even with that, she was so cold and distant and like very short with patients and stuff like that. So when you like that, people don't want to be around you.
No, no, not at all. No bedside
Like,
manners at all.
no bedside manner at all. And that's what a lot of these doctors like you know how they say sometimes you can be too smart.
Yeah.
You
You
know what I'm
know,
saying?
they say like they say that's about Kanye. You can be so smart to like you're like borderline like crazy
Yeah,
kind
cray
of.
cray.
Yeah.
And I believe that. I really do. But apparently she like my grandma and my mama say,
Hmm.
got book sense, ain't got no common sense.
Yeah.
Cause they
Because
say that
that was
about
out
me
of
often.
she committed that out of rage, like because I think she felt like he's not getting my kids under any means necessary, and like, sweetheart, like it's not like it would take a lot. I mean, I'm pretty sure he was building up evidence, but she was fearing that for the fact he had proof that she was poisoning him, that alone was gonna be the straw that would allow him to get
Get them
full custody of
kids.
kids. And of course, like, of course, you know,
It don't make
but
sense. And honestly, I agreed with him having full custody because of how she manipulates the children
yeah,
and uses them as little pawns to do her dirty
yeah,
work and try to turn them against their daddy. Like, why would you do that?
hmm,
Like,
yeah,
adult affairs should never be discussed with children or amongst children. Is how I feel.
hmm, yeah.
They don't need to
But
worry about nothing but school and they little social activities they got.
but honestly, even if he got on full, like, even if he got full custody of the kids, they could have been temporary until she got herself together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
Like,
if you agree to get some help, but she's such a
yeah,
I don't even know if I can call her a narcissist because you know what? I
yeah,
get annoyed when people throw that term around so
they
much because
overuse it.
they overuse it and it's like
Yeah,
beating a dead horse. Everyone is not a narcissist, but
yeah,
she was so egotistical. Let me say that she was so
yes,
egotistical to the point that I don't even think she would be willing to just sit down and have a conversation about
mm-mm,
things like that and having an amicable divorce
mm-hmm.
or realizing that she has a problem. But you was able to do it with Dwayne.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
Like, I don't know if it's just because she didn't have children by Dwayne, but I
yeah,
don't know if it's just because she has children with Michael that makes things different and
mm-hmm,
like the resentment and stuff. Like I
mm-hmm,
said, because she was very goal and career driven before
mm-hmm,
she started having children with Michael. So I don't know if that has something to do with it too. But there
mm-hmm.
so many different options here.
So many options that didn't involve ending lives and
Murder.
poisoning people.
And then the main one you mad at still walking around here. You done took your
Hmm.
kids out, like, and I hope they haunt you every day.
Now the blessing is, y'all, he still went on. Even though he had brain surgery and everything, he still practiced. He still was a very good doctor, and he's still practicing medicine till this day, from my understanding. That's been a long
And
time ago, but I don't know if he's retired, but he still continued his career. It didn't impact
yeah,
his career, so he's living a full life, and you behind bars.
and yours gone,
Yeah.
basically. That like, how is that revenge? How is that get back? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That man still living his life. Might be still with the mistress. Who knows? And meanwhile you locked up. Ain't nobody letting you out. Like, girl, it's not like when you think
Yeah.
about it in the long term, you lost
Yep.
and you fumbled a bag in the process. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but you deserve all of that for
Yep.
taking your kids out of here like that. Like, that's
Yep.
crazy. Just because you didn't want the man to have full custody, so you rather
Yep. Yep.
unalive him.
But you know what though? Like, I'm gonna tell you one thing also, and I mean, just something I observed just when I was looking up all this stuff. So I would never have somebody get me to the point that their sight just enrages me to the point I want to react like that. Even at the when she was,
Exactly.
even when she was at the hospital, like the sight of that man, like
She
that's
just
when it's
flipped.
time. Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
if anyone's around me making me feel like that and taking me out of my element, you gotta
yeah.
go.
Yes, yes.
Like, and not going the way she was trying to make him go, but I'm gonna remove myself from the situation if it's not making me happy, if it's not conducive to my mental health, if I'm
Mm-hmm.
not at peace. I'm going to remove myself from the situation and continue to live my life because it is
Right,
never that deep,
right,
like,
right.
ever.
Mm-hmm. It's really not. It's not that deep. Like, you gotta heal, man. Well, she should have. I mean, it's way too late now, but I'm saying she should have healed.
She gonna heal in hell,
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
bust hell wide open when she leave this earth.
I wonder. You know what I was wondering? Like, does she have a connection, or does she have a relationship with her daughter that did survive?
That did survive. I don't know. I was wondering where the daughter was now, but I think it's another one of those situations they kind of go off the grid because they don't want to have any connection
Mm-hmm.
to that person because that was a very publicized event
Mm-hmm.
and they don't want to have any connection. A lot of times they may even change their name. So I didn't see anything
Yeah.
on the existing daughter that did make it, but I
Yeah.
couldn't imagine how I would feel knowing that my mama tried to take me out.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
You
a
know what I'm
whole
saying?
different set of emotions, and how do you even
Yeah.
process that?
I Girl, I be on Bull Street.
Bull Street gone, so you're gonna have to pick another street.
Well, I would be over here on what's the street over here by the hospital with mental health at.
I
I'd be
don't
over there
know.
when them folks getting injections or something. Cause I mentally I wouldn't be able to process that. I'm trying to tell
No.
you. Like, how
That
you
is a
got
hard pill to swallow. That is a very troubling thing to have to resonate with, like having to like
my heart goes out
internalize that.
to her.
Yeah. Wherever
And
she
she
is,
would be around
yeah,
our age. She was
she would.
born she was
In
born
88,
when?
right?
Yeah, that because it was the youngest one that survived, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
No. Let's see. So
You sure? I think it was the youngest one that did survive. Cause she was.
Kelly was 6. Was Kelly the youngest one?
I don't think so. I think they had a. I think no. I think they had another child that was younger.
So Jennifer.
Yes, I
I
believe
can't
so.
remember how old Jennifer was, but Jennifer was born sometime between 82 and 8. No, she was born sometime. Well, yeah, that would have been 88. That was the last one because if they
Hmm.
had one younger than 6, so
Yeah, because
she's
this happened in
around.
'95. This
But
happened in '95.
she had to be like 34, going on 35 or
Yeah,
something like that. So she kind of close in
yeah,
age to us. So
yeah.
I
I wouldn't
my
want to
heart
be
goes.
found either, y'all. Like
Me
I,
either. My heart goes
mm-mm,
out to her. Like I wouldn't be doing interviews. I wouldn't be doing nothing because I don't want no association with that
mm-mm.
woman.
No,
Like
no.
I
Because
don't know her.
like a lot of people use those as I mean, I can understand like there are some people that use it as opportunity to like level up, share their story, do some
Yeah,
tours, do books and stuff like that. But I understand those people that just want to go away and hide it and never look back, create a life and forget all about it because that is
I
a
don't
lot.
blame them. I don't
You,
blame them. I probably
because
would do the same
because
thing.
imagine how that would impact you professionally with that last name. People, like that last name,
I would change
and
my
I'm
name.
pretty sure people want to bring up conversations like, do you talk to your mom and all this
Yeah,
kind of stuff. It's really not anybody's business, honestly.
but I noticed they never referred to her as Deborah Farrar.
No, I think she kept her name.
So, but that wasn't even her maiden name. Her
No,
Green was the first husband's last name. Her maiden
yeah,
name was Jones.
something
Let me
like
go
that.
back. I think yeah, because she was born to Joan and Bob Jones. So her
Hmm.
maiden name is Deborah Jones. I mean, she goes by Dr. Deborah Green. So I'm
Hmm.
like, almost curious, did she even take on Michael's last name when they got married?
Yeah,
Because you know what? He details accounts that he was like, I don't know how they lasted 16 years because he said there was never, even when they were dating before they got married, there wasn't a lot of affection. There
yeah.
weren't like verbal affirmations or expressions of love, like I
Hmm.
love you and stuff like this. So I'm like, I wanted to ask him, why did you even propose to her then? Like, what was it? Just because
Sometimes
you
it's a status thing. Sometimes it's a flex. And sometimes it's like,
right.
you know what? I'm a doctor. She a doctor.
I
We're gonna
bet
get
he
this
wish he
back
wouldn't have flexed
together. But
now.
I bet, let me tell you, that's the hardest lesson, probably one of the hardest lessons he's ever learned. It is that big of a deal. Is it that big of a deal? Because
Exactly. And I know it's common in like I guess Eastern cultures cuz they do like a lot of them have arranged marriages and stuff like that. So you're just, you may find love along the way, but your family
mhm,
find you a lot of times from birth. Your family
yeah,
matches you up with a potential suitor and that's
hmm
who everybody know you going to marry when you come of age.
hmm
But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I can't do it.
No, I can't
Personally, I can't
either.
do it.
No, I could. Mm-mm.
That's no judgment though.
No, no.
I judge a
I
lot
mean, I'm
on our
judging her though.
episodes, but
I
that ain't
don't.
no judging.
It's not my place to judge, but like, I'm definitely giving her the side eye. Cause why did you do
I'm
that?
judging her.
Yeah.
But like people who have arranged marriages and stuff like that, I'm not judging them. I'm judging the
Yeah.
hell out of her.
Yeah. Yeah. I was talking
Um,
about her, not the arranged marriage or whatever. No, I'm
yeah,
talking about
yeah.
her. You know, y'all. She's, she was sentenced to life without parole. So she's in jail, still in jail. I checked; she is still alive, and I
Yeah.
believe Michael is too, still practicing. So
And there was no I just want to highlight before we go, there was no trial. While she was awaiting trial, she ended up pleading no contest to the charges because the defense realized that the prosecution had a mountain of evidence against her. So she ended up pleading no contest, which means she did not
mhm.
contest the charges. Now, since she was arrested and convicted in 1995, she has since tried to, I guess, appeal that decision on two separate occasions. She has not been successful. Like, girl, ain't nobody with kid killers. Ain't
Ain't
nobody letting
nobody
y'all
trying to
out.
feel that. Ain't nobody
Ain't
trying to hear
nobody
that.
letting you out.
No.
No, you gonna die in there.
Yeah.
Settle in. Settle
Why
in.
are you? Why are you this way? Why are you talking about settle in?
Settle in, buddy. You're not going anywhere.
Look,
Like they,
Susan Smith, she just embraced it.
she might as well too.
Cause settle in,
Settle in, Susan. Continue to buddy up and get cozy with those correctional officers.
but she got her a man though. She
She
got her
had
a
a
man.
woman too. Susan,
Oh,
she's another one that stressed me out. She
Susan
had a
is just
woman too.
no. I didn't know that part.
Susan just be doing. It's not like it's not Susan.
Oh
It's
no,
it's just like we spent enough time on Susan season one, episode one.
she
Go
had
back
her
and look at
moment. I'm
that.
sick of her too.
Go back
Mm-mm.
and look at that if you want
Yes,
to hear our
very
thoughts
first
on Susan.
episode.
She just be doing stuff, y'all. But it's
Mhm.
damn Deborah.
Yeah, but like just a very intelligent woman, sent behind bars could have been saving lives.
She could have been so much more.
Now, but
Could have
you made your
could
bed,
have
now you
really
gotta lay
made
in
an
it.
impact on the world. Like, girl,
We need minds like yours,
we
but
do.
girl, but hey, here we are. But y'all, this was another interesting case, y'all. I just one of these shake my head moments, just
Big time. But
why? Mm,
we're not gonna hold y'all no longer.
no.
Please be sure to like, share, subscribe our YouTube channel. We're also
Mhm.
on Spotify.
Yes, we
Sisters in
also on
Crime with
Mm-hmm.
Shy and Toy.
Yes.
If you would like to make a special request, if you want us to cover a special case, something you have in mind, all my true crime addicts,
Mm-hmm.
feel free to. We've been talking about recent events here.
Mm-hmm.
Some girls went missing, popped up in what was it, Montana?
Yes. And she was alive and well. Yeah.
Alicia Navarro. That may be
Yes.
something we cover soon. Just
Yeah.
stay tuned, y'all. Subscribe so
Yes.
you'll get alerts as to when we post. We post every Thursday, in the
Yes.
afternoon around 1.
Yep.
So we have, like I said, before, we have more things coming in the works. We are going to be expanding to more social media platforms,
Mm-hmm.
and we look forward to seeing you guys in the next episode. Did you have anything you wanted to add, Boo?
I don't, y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Be back next Thursday For our next episode, it'll be episode 7. So y'all, please take care. Be safe. Don't commit murder.
Don't just go in grace
Go in
and
grace.
go with God.
Absolutely.
You can never
Give
go
it to
wrong.
him every day. Even if you have to give it to him every day. Even after you wake up, give it to him. Don't commit murder.
Cause then
Jail
we're
is
gonna
not a
be
fun place.
cause then we'll be talking about you on here.
Yes. I passed a jail headed to Charleston the other week, and it was the most depressing thing I've ever seen. They were just, everybody had on orange. It was just, I was just like heartbroken. I told my husband, please get me out of here immediately.
And conditions behind jail are horrendous.
Yes.
Y'all don't want to be back there.
No. No.
Don't do it. Don't do
No.
it.
No.
Just take a step. Just take a beat.
Yeah.
Think. Use
Call
your thinking
someone.
brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't call me though unless I know
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Because I'm going to call the police. If you talking about some crazy stuff, I'm going to call the police.
I'm gonna report you. I have to by law.
But it's all in love.
It's been real.
Bye, y'all. See us back next week with our next episode. Who are we covering next week? We are covering.
That's a great question.
We've already filmed it, and I forgot totally. Oh, wait. Who did we do? I can't
Uh,
remember.
we don't know who next.
So it's gonna be great. It doesn't matter. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be huge.
If you have someone in
Huge.
mind, leave a comment, and that's who we'll be covering.
It's gonna be huge.
It's gonna be big. You don't want to miss it.
Right, you don't want to miss it. Y'all, thank y'all for tuning in. Have a great week. Bye.
Bye.